BCIT Magazine. Election flyers spark controversy amongst locals.
BCI students are paying for their health plan, but where is the money going?
And police crack down on distracted drivers with new equipment. Hello and welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Amrit Gill.
And I'm Jessica Fedigan. With the election less than a month away, campaigns across the country have kicked into high gear. Dramatic language is nothing new to politics, but as Emily Murray reports, one flyer has provoked some negative reactions.
Is this real?
Yeah, that's on the
No.
flyer. Yes.
No.
Yeah, so that's like the problem.
No.
Hala Salome was more than surprised when she received this flyer last weekend from South Surrey Conservative candidate Diane Watts. As a Syrian Canadian, Salome has recently faced racism and prejudice, most of it taking place over social media. She says this flyer is no better than some posts she's seen on Facebook.
Just devastating pictures being flooded onto my timeline. It's a bunch of ignorance and it's quite rude, and those people don't even stop to think who they really have on their friends list.
Salome says a post on social media is one thing, but a political notice is another. So we took the flyer to the public to find out more.
I think it's totally disgusting, absolutely disgusting.
Why?
Why? Not everybody in the world is a terrorist, and why do we have to go interfere in Canada? I just don't get it.
Seriously? Man, this is really racist.
No, this is disgusting.
Yeah, this is really
but it's
making,
typical.
Yeah, it's
of
making
Stephen
Canada look
Harper.
bad as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Diane Watts refused to comment on camera, but her office did issue this statement, reading that there was no intention to fearmonger and that Prime Minister Harper just wants the Canadians to be safe.
It's like a domino effect. One person will say one thing, one person in power will say one thing, and then all of a sudden it spreads like a wildfire and everyone's like, yes, I agree. And we are so diverse here. Every second person you meet on the street has come from elsewhere or has an interesting story to tell about their family members coming from elsewhere. How are you supposed to feel at home and safe if the next target could be you?
Emily Murray in White Rock for BCIT Magazine.
Many senior citizens feel they are getting left out of residences these days. For many, this leads to years of waiting before they can get adequate housing. Lena Tanahara has more.
Kiyoshi and Setsuko Sato are 83 and 79 years old. They currently live on their own, but they've applied to enter a senior's home. However, they may be waiting for a long time.
If they mention 2-3 years, but I think it's not guaranteed time because, you never know when you get the vacancy.
And they're not the only ones waiting to get into a senior's home. According to a report from the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation, the demand for seniors' residences is outstripping supply, with the average rate costing about $2,800 per month in BC. But at this publicly funded home, rent is based on income, with larger suites than the average residence, which makes it very popular.
The vacancy rate is probably, just enough time to have the next person move in to prepare a suite. There are 59 suites, and they're continually occupied.
And seniors' housing issues might not get better. Statistics Canada revealed that for the first time ever, there are more seniors living in the country than children, with their demographic growing 4 times faster than the rest of the population. So for now, Kiyoshi and Setsuko will have to make do, living independently until a space opens up for them. Lena Tanahara in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
The city of Vancouver is encouraging dog owners to invest in licenses for their pets. However, what some see as a fair fee, others are calling a cash grab. My co-anchor Amrit Gill has the story.
It's the law. You have to get your furry friend a license. Some say it's a cash grab by municipalities, while others call it responsible pet ownership.
I think when you talk about licensing, people often will say that it's a tax grab. But if you come down and take a look and see what you get for your licensing, there's a lot of benefits that are really beneficial to the dog owner.
If your dog is at least 3 months old, you're required to pay $40 per year and get it a license.
That it's the best way of getting your dog home when you lose your dog. So the license is a good way of identification, and we have a 97% return to owner because of licensing in case of emergency. So if you're in a fire or there's an earthquake, we know where the dogs are in the city and know where to send rescue crews.
For Jorge Posada, working with dogs is his livelihood, and pet licenses can sometimes end up costing him business.
We end up kind of losing business because of the license, because even though animal control spreads the word and they put signs on the bus stops, a lot of owners don't know about it.
Posada says people need to be more aware of where the money is going and the consequences of not having a license.
If a dog is not licensed, it's not the person that walks the dog the one that gets the fine, it's the owner of the dog.
For these dog owners, licenses are a positive.
I feel like she's microchipped. I've got her name on her and her phone number, and she's licensed, so it's definitely protected that way, I guess.
They should have dog licenses, but the money should be spent finding homes for lost dogs.
Vancouver Animal Services insists the money is efficiently used.
That it helps to fund some of the great work that happens down here at Animal Control, rehoming the dogs that don't get picked up by their owners, and to find new forever homes for them.
Amrit Gill in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine. Distracted driving is the second highest cause of fatal accidents on BC roads, and police want to make sure drivers are aware of that. Our reporter Tara Harvey joined officers roadside in Delta.
The RCMP and Delta Police are using a new weapon to spot distracted drivers before drivers spot them.
We're able to look inside vehicles from a far distance, up to a couple hundred meters away, and to be able to see if there's anyone obviously using a cell phone, being distracted behind the wheel, failing to wear a seatbelt. Anything that really, ideally, if you were to see us first, you'd be able to quickly try to conceal.
Enforcement is ramping up to reinforce the message that doesn't seem to be getting across to all drivers.
Sadly, I think for some people's behavior to change as a tragedy has to happen. 88 people die due to distracted driving on BC roads each year.
One tip that ICBC offers to drivers to help them keep their eyes on the road is to actually put your mobile device in the trunk of your car so that you're not tempted to look at it. ICBC says they have seen a rise in rear-end accidents due to distracted driving and advise motorists to protect themselves from the drivers behind them.
If you're concerned about being hit by a distracted driver, is to ensure that your head restraint is correctly positioned as high as possible and very close to the back of your head, because that'll reduce the level of injury if you were to be hit.
The consequence for sending that text comes at a cost: 3 penalty points on your license and a hefty fine. It's a repercussion that we may see more often as police continue to add to their distracted driving arsenal. Tara Harvey in Delta for BCIT Magazine.
We're now joined live by our reporter Tara Harvey. Tara, are other communities using this new technology to catch distracted drivers?
Well, Amrit, the Delta Police found this equipment to be quite effective this week, so officers in other communities have started to use it as well to hopefully crack down on more distracted drivers.
Coming up next on BCIT Magazine, a Spanish-inspired restaurant brings a new edge to the Vancouver dining scene.
And the Pig Sanctuary founder is seeking donations before the winter season.
I chose BCIT because I know that all the programs are very hands-on. We have our own radio station. Like it's one of the best programs that I've ever heard of.
I am starting a job on Monday, so confidence is high.
Honestly, I didn't think it was going to be this fun.
A defining moment for me was when I finished my first internship and got lots of really great feedback from industry professionals.
I would have never imagined I'd be walking into the floors of TSN and thinking, I'm not a student anymore, I'm here to work.
I will be starting a job with an investigative news program in Toronto, and I'm really excited to see that grow into what will become, hopefully, my dream job. BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work.
'BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work. 'BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work. 'BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work. 'BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work. 'BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work. 'BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work. 'BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work. 'BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work. 'BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work. 'BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work. 'BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work. 'BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work. 'BCIT Broadc
BCIT Student Association is trying to make it easier for students to discuss mental health issues. It's a topic one Canadian TV personality, amongst others, holds close to his heart. My co-anchor Jessica Fedigan has the story.
Suicide is a serious issue, especially among young people. BCIT is amping up their efforts to help.
We do it year-round, so we offer it once a month, open sessions to any students, and then we also did 5 this month for Suicide Prevention Month.
They call these sessions QPR, Question, Persuade, Refer, aimed at helping those directly or indirectly involved with someone who may be suicidal.
We're really trying to raise awareness about suicide and really open up the conversation because it's a really taboo subject and kind of a hard subject for people to talk about. And the end goal, the main goal, is obviously to hopefully help prevent suicides, especially in the BCIT community.
Michael Landsberg from TSN is one of the biggest voices in the fight against mental illness, and he believes sessions like QPR are crucial.
I think that the whole concept of being in a group of people that understand you, that get you, that have been there, that will see through your lies, people that will understand the difficulty that you're going through, how tough this is. I think that that's absolutely empowering.
Landsberg believes reaching out is what ultimately saved his life. He has advice for anyone who can't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
This is a fight, that it won't get better on its own. Nobody else can do it for you. You have to fight. And what fight means when it comes to battling your depression is going for help.
Hannah believes that what they are doing could be life-changing.
At the end of the day, it is preventable, and if we can help try save a life, then we feel it's really important.
Help is always available. Sometimes it's just taking the first step. Jessica Fedigan in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine. Full-time BCIT students are automatically enrolled into a health and dental plan. However, many of them don't know what the plan is or how it works. Olivia Smith has more.
A dental office is a place to sit back, relax, and let the dentist go to work. But for students, a dental checkup can be a stressful, confusing process.
They are really confused, and usually we need to help them in understanding the policy.
And did you know about our BCIT full health and dental plan?
No, I wasn't even aware that BCIT had a dental plan.
I just walked past the booth, but then otherwise I didn't really know much information about it.
I did know about it a little bit because they talked about it on the orientation day, but after that I didn't know about it.
Computer systems technology, you're paying $111. Students always come with a lot of questions, and you definitely hear a lot of the same kinds of questions. We're very good this year in particular at making the information available.
But dental isn't all that's included in the student plan.
Prescription drugs is a big one. They also have things like ambulance cover, which is a big one as well. It covers things like physiotherapy, chiropractic, registered massage therapy, counselling.
If students are paying these fees every semester, then why aren't they taking advantage of it?
The problem at the moment is I think a lot of students are quite busy while they are here. They're time poor, and doing their research and finding out about these kinds of things is something that can quite easily slip under the radar. Students who do the research will be best positioned to take advantage of the plan. Olivia Smith in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
A Spanish-inspired restaurant wants to make its mark on Vancouver's dining scene, but in an industry with a high failure rate, the economic risks are also high. Rana Saude has the story.
Can Vancouverites adapt their thinking to embrace the notion that you can come here and buy a drink and get a good quality item to eat for free?
This restaurant owner calls it an experiment, giving away free food. At his restaurant during happy hour, customers are offered free tapas.
It's also been very interesting to see people from the neighborhood who typically go home at 6 o'clock and weren't coming to us, they were finishing work going home, are now coming to us at 5 o'clock and getting a drink because they're getting something to eat and then going home. And that's extremely Spanish.
Offering free tapas isn't a new idea in Spain, although Heather admits here it's a careful marketing plan and risk.
Will Vancouverites make this part of their daily routine? Would they come here to get something free? Would they trust that it's going to be good, or is it going to be a packet of potato chips?
In British Columbia, there's 12,000 restaurants, and about half of those restaurants are in Metro Vancouver. About 70% of new restaurants don't make it.
Running your own restaurant is a common dream for entrepreneurs. What could be nicer than serving delicious meals to make people happy? Well, not losing a fortune doing it could be one thing.
Not all restaurant guys are getting rich. In fact, A restaurant typically will make about 2% after tax profit. They're difficult businesses to operate.
If it works, and so far it's been very encouraging, like we are going to extend it now for another month. So it's been a very interesting exercise in that I've been able to add up the figures and show that even if I was paying for the food that I've been giving away, I can make it work so that I actually make money.
Heather says it was worth the risk to see even a little change in the Vancouver dining scene. Rana Sodai in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
A pig sanctuary in Mission is scrounging for donations to help keep their potbellies warm for the winter. Our reporter Olivia Smith visited the farm and has more on this story.
Hearts on Noses, a nonprofit pig sanctuary located in the farmlands of Mission, is home to upwards of 40 pot-bellied pigs. These pigs, many of which were abandoned or mistreated, enjoy a life full of love because one woman decided something had to be done.
And one day somebody called me and said, there's a pig that needs a home. I need to be there for them. Nobody was in the beginning. That's why I did this.
With the winter months coming, it's only going to get colder. Janice, the founder of Hearts on Noses Pig Sanctuary, is looking for donations of straw to keep guys like this warm for the winter.
They need the same temperature as us to survive. They can get colds and pneumonia and snotty noses just like us. Straw is it's a coarser grass and it's a very hollow grass. So when you fluff it all up, those pigs can get right underneath and it retains their heat. So they stay nice and warm and cozy. They need the good straw because they're going underneath it. And if they go underneath and it's just falling off their back, then it's useless.
A GoFundMe page has been set up for the nonprofit organization with a fundraising goal of $2,500. The money raised will go towards providing the pigs with the straw necessary to survive winter.
Donations are really down right now. We had a bad summer with the drought, so the prices of hay and grass is all going up.
Gillette has invested everything she has into keeping her babies safe and happy, even at the expense of her own health.
I have to find a job. I had a heart attack 1.5 years ago, and it knocked me down.
Gillette hopes the community will step up to help give these pigs warmth for the winter, and for her, peace of mind. Olivia Smith in Mission for BCIT Magazine.
Coming up next on BCIT Magazine, the lunar eclipse coincided with Chinese festivities.
And Vancouverites catch Blue Jay fever as the team earns a spot in the playoffs.
The most rewarding thing for me has been the relationships I developed in the program, both with instructors and classmates. My sense of confidence has never been higher. I mean, this program's offered great opportunities to be in real world, real industry situations, and being in those moments and knowing I can contribute, I can do this.
It's exciting to be in this industry and to meet lots of great people and to make amazing friends.
BCIT broadcast and online journalism, realizing your potential.
Standby graphics, ready, camera one.
If you want to experience the fast-paced world of news,
today on BCIT Magazine, striking,
make magic on a movie set,
frame,
and action, or bring your creative ideas to life, BCIT's hands-on training will get you started. BCIT Television and Video Production. Your possibilities start here.
Don't know what to do this weekend? Don't worry, we're here to help.
Here's your community calendar for the following week.
Want to impress that foreign chick you met at the coffee shop this morning? Take her to the Vancouver International Film Festival.
It'll be running until October 9th. Just make sure you pick up a program ahead of time so you actually know what you're talking about. Tickets are available at viff.org.
Are you tired of the club scene in Vancouver? Check out the Night Animal Prowl on October 4th at Stanley Park to celebrate World Animal Day.
These animals will love you forever, not just for one night. And don't forget to bring your flashlight because the event runs from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Looking for an event to wear that new outfit to? Check out Vancouver Fashion Week at the Chinese Cultural Center in downtown. There's only 2 days left.
You can get your tickets at eventbrite.ca. And don't forget to take tons of selfies. so everyone knows that you were there.
And that was your community calendar.
Have a great weekend.
We have Nazanin Shoja, the BC Culture Days coordinator. Nazanin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about Culture Days.
Well, Culture Days is a national celebration of arts, culture, and heritage that basically invites the public behind the scenes to discover the world of artists and creators in their community.
And the event happened last week, so can you kind of tell us how it went and how people found it?
Yeah, it went really well. There were more than 600 events happening all across BC. And there was really good turnout, actually. We had pretty good feedback, and there was quite a variety of events, so we're really excited.
And moving forward for next year, is there anything you guys would do differently?
I would like to try to reach out to as many communities as possible. So just reaching out earlier to communities that might not know as much about Culture Days and give them the chance to get a head start so that they're ready for next year.
And what's at the heart of the event?
Well, the main idea is to engage the public. We want arts and culture to be a part of our daily lives, and because that gives a healthier lifestyle and healthier community.
And being the coordinator of the event, what's your long-term goal?
My long-term goal is to have everyone participating in Culture Days in some shape or form.
All right. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
This week's lunar eclipse coincided with one of the most important celebrations in Chinese culture. Lena Tanahara has more.
The Mid-Autumn Moon Festival took place at the Dr. Sun Yat-sen Gardens in Chinatown. There were plenty of activities, including mahjong, tea ceremonies, and of course, mooncakes. But this year's festival coincided with a rare event.
This year is called a supermoon. It's when the full moon is extra big. At the same time, what's very, very special is this year we actually have a full total lunar eclipse happening at the same time as the full moon.
The H.R. Macmillan Space Center was on hand with a telescope for people to view the eclipse.
For us here in Vancouver, it's been a long time since there's been a good time to view it. Sometimes they happen in the middle of the night, 3 or 4 a.m., but tonight it's going to be a good time for lots of people to view it.
And did they ever? But this spectacular sight wasn't always welcome.
In the old times, people didn't know what eclipses were, and they imagined that, when an eclipse fell over the shadow of the moon, that it was the dragon that was eating the moon. And so what people would do is they would bring out their pots and pans and gongs and bang them, and they would chase away the dragon, and then the moon would come back out.
While the orchestra didn't bring any pots and pans, they did provide plenty of music to accompany the night. But if you missed the chance to see this rare supermoon eclipse, there's always the next one in the year 2033. Lena Tanahara in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
For the first time in 22 years, the Toronto Blue Jays have made the playoffs, and interest has sparked across the Lower Mainland. As Emily Murray reports, the hype is causing merchandise to fly off the shelves.
As he unboxes his newest shipment, Mike Callback can hardly contain his excitement. For the first time since 1993, he can hold a Toronto Blue Jays postseason hat in his hands.
Since the Blue Jays have been making a crazy run for the playoffs, business hasn't got really busy. Lots of bandwagons. Lots. And then any of the Jays fans that have been supporting them over the years are just super stoked, like myself.
The interest is there, but is it for the love of the sport, or is it just a case of bandwagon hopping?
It could be seen as bandwagoning, I think, but it's more about following and supporting teams that are closer to our city.
Well, probably two reasons. Love of the sport, and because Toronto, Canadian, we want to be patriotic, and I think that's a big part of it as well.
For the love or the hype, it doesn't make a difference to this store owner and fan, as long as business keeps booming.
Normally, this whole wall would be full of Blue Jays merchandise, but since the team's success, Game On Sports can't restock fast enough.
Monkeys, jerseys, and of course hats, Callback says all of it is flying off the shelves, and he's not complaining. He says he's more concerned with the outcome of the playoffs.
I don't want to jinx it, but I would like them to win the World Series.
Emily Murray in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
We're now joined live by our reporter Chris Brentlinger-Grant. So Chris, the Jays played the Orioles last night in Baltimore. Can you give us a bit of a recap on what happened?
Well, Jessica, the Jays and the Orioles played a doubleheader at Camden Yards, and Toronto just needed one more win to secure the American League East title. This happened as they drubbed the O's 15-2 in Game 1 behind a very strong showing by sophomore pitcher Marcus Stroman. With the win, this means that Toronto's back into the playoffs for the first time since 1993.
Chris, we now know what Jays fever is, but what is the secret behind their success?
Well, it means a lot of things for the city of Toronto. Ever since GM Alex Anthopoulos put together those pair of trades for David Price and Troy Tulowitzki, the Jays have had a 38-14 record, which is good for by far the best mark in the major leagues. It also means that this current stretch has allowed Toronto to leapfrog over the New York Yankees for top spot in their division.
A gray whale was spotted off the coast of Stanley Park on Tuesday afternoon near Third Beach. This isn't the first time whales have been spotted, but experts from the Vancouver Aquarium say the whale was feeding. This could indicate an improvement in the area's water conditions.
If you have any questions or comments regarding this program, please visit us online at bcit-broadcast.com or bcitbroadcastnews.ca.
I'm Anne Raquel.
And I'm Jessica Fedigan. That's today's BCIT Magazine. Thanks for watching. We leave you now with footage of Spanish banks.